Wires down, fences destroyed, and trees uprooted. A community recovering after a tornado.
I'm meteorologist Rich Lewin. Much colder for tonight and tomorrow, but then we're warming back up through the weekend. We'll check those numbers for you just ahead.
In some cities, the uncommitted vote got more votes than President Biden. Now, Muslims and Arabs are taking a victory lap, but there are some others that are taking a victory lap, too.
Working for you. Fox 2 News at 5 starts now.
All right, we'll preface this with it's February. A powerful EF2 tornado whipped through Grand Blanc last night, leaving a trail of destruction right behind in the community. You know, much of the Grand Blanc area is still without power. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Roop Raj.
And I'm Tara Nasher. The storm damaged homes and then sent debris flying. Fox 2's Scott Wolchek is joining us live from the Grand Blanc area with some of the damage left behind. Scott, what are you seeing?
Taryn, you know, this right here really reflects some of this damage from this EF2. You know, winds were up to 115 miles per hour. And just take a look at some of those roots. I mean, these trees are massive. And this is the Indian Hills neighborhood. It's right by downtown Grand Blanc. Now, downtown is actually looking pretty good, but you can see this neighborhood. You've got pine trees just totally ripped up right from the ground, smashing into different houses. They've had gas lines that have been affected by this. Their power lines have been affected by this. It's definitely very devastating. It's amazing to see some of this crazy damage, and imagine nobody was hurt out of this. And today, you know, last night people woke up to sirens. Now it's the sound of chainsaws in this neighborhood as they're getting ready to recover.
It's devastating. I mean, last night, the sirens went off about 1:20. Emergency, take shelter. Kind of woke us up out of a dead sleep, and to see all the damage here is just unbelievable.
An EF2 tornado with winds gusting up to 115 miles per hour tore through Grand Blanc, twisting limbs, blowing out fences and wires, and uprooting trees. Big trees. Huge oaks and pines torn from the earth at Indian Hills subdivision near downtown. The tornado traveled more than 5 miles. This neighborhood, one of the hardest hit. People like Bob left to pick up the pieces without power.
There's power lines down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 houses in a row. All the lines are down back here.
Bob is dealing with downed wires and trees, shattered glass.
And a lot of mess.
As Bob and his neighbors recover, cleanup across the city continues. Dort Highway still shut down. These photos give a glimpse into some of the wreckage.
There's an industrial warehouse that was affected too, right on Dort Highway.
Yeah.
And it was just shocking that the damage that this tornado did.
Scattering debris, taking down power lines, and even the gas lines.
You could hear the psh like that, just like it was in our yard from gas. And that went on for at least a couple hours.
As repair work begins, residents just thankful nobody was hurt.
I'm just glad everybody's all right. I mean, it was a mess.
A mess is almost an understatement at this point. You know, I mean, they've been out here all morning working to really break some of these trees and scatter limbs down. You can even see this tree has fallen on top of this car here. So lots of damage, lots of repairs that are going to be underway, but the community certainly coming together tonight. Reporting live in Grand Blanc, Scott Wolchek, Fox 2 News. Taryn,
you know, Scott, when you see the damage, I mean, it is really massive in that 5-mile stretch, but it was so late at night. If you didn't hear those tornado sirens, you really wouldn't know. You might have even slept through it. So it is really amazing that no one was injured, and this wasn't even a worse off situation.
Yeah, and you know, I think that part of that is they sent out an emergency alert on the phones, right? Because we've talked to some neighbors out here who are like, yo, we didn't hear the tornado, we were sleeping, but we heard that alert that went off on the phone. By the time we ran down to shelter, it seemed like it was already going through, you know. So this thing came through hard and fast and definitely freaked a lot of people out.
Yeah, they always do. Well, wish them the best during this cleanup. Thanks, Scott, for the update.
Yes.
What you just saw there, I mean, those were some pretty nasty storms last night and pretty rare for this time of the year, too.
And today, it was back to the bitter cold, and boy, it hit us like a ton of bricks as well. Let's see what's coming next with our first look at the forecast with Rich.
Hey there, Taryn and Roop. Yeah, we're back to February today, but let's go back to last night. It was after 1 o'clock in the morning. There's that EF2. Only the second time we've had a confirmed touchdown in southeast Michigan during the month of February. So pretty extraordinary what went on. Here's a good look at that tornado on radar right at the beginning of the animation. You'll see it right there with the reds and the greens coming together right over Grand Blanc. Thankfully, it didn't last very long, about 10 minutes in the Grand Blanc area. How about this big temperature change? From yesterday, we had numbers in the 70s. Now we have numbers in the 20s. So some of us are 50 degrees colder today compared to yesterday at this time. You don't see that very often. And how about this? Snow flurries crossing the area. Some heavier snow showers out there close to Lake Michigan. But here are your current temperatures. 26 for us, 20 in Alpena. It's 12 degrees up there in Marquette. Then you factor in the breeze. Some of us have wind chill readings in the single digits. Wind advisory continues till 7 p.m. We could see some higher gusts for the next couple of hours, but we're down to 19. And then take a look at what's coming up next. It does stay cold into tomorrow, but we'll see a return of sunshine Thursday, moderating temperatures for the weekend. Look at that. Sunday, Monday, back near 60 degrees. Roop and Taryn, another check coming up in 10.
All right, Rich, thanks.
Well, more than 100,000 Michigan Democrats voting uncommitted in the state's primary. They hope it will be a wake-up call for President Biden and change his approach to the Israel-Hamas war.
His path to re-election looking actually hazier if he can't win over this block of voters. Fox News' Charlie Langton joins us live with more. And Charlie, if the president wants these voters, he's going to have to change a lot of his policy.
He's going to have to change the policy, certainly in Israel. No question about that. You just mentioned a couple of numbers there. Let me give you some more numbers. That's right. About 100,000 votes. These are Democratic votes that were taken from Joe Biden in the statewide primary. It's about 13% or so. But if you go into Wayne County, a very strategic and important area for Joe Biden to win, that 100,000 is about, the numbers there, it's about 17%. What's really interesting, too, the cities of Dearborn and Hamtramck, largely Arab and Muslim, there were more uncommitted votes than votes for Joe Biden. Okay, so what's next? It's a victory lap of sorts, but where do we go from here? Got a chance to talk to a former congressman and also a Democratic advisor. Take a look.
We are not down with genocide.
A victory lap of sorts for those largely Arab and Muslim Democrats who managed to take 100,000 votes statewide from Joe Biden in Tuesday's primary.
The only way to have security and peace for the Jewish people there is to realize the political and human rights of the Palestinian people. There is no other way.
Former Democratic Michigan Congressman Andy Levin is Jewish, but supports the Arab and Muslim Uncommitted Vote campaign.
Charlie, let's get real. U.S. policy for decades, except for the 4 Trump years, has been that we need to create a Palestinian state in the occupied territory side by side with the Jewish state to live in peace together. Netanyahu has never been for that. He's been totally against it. And now he's running a government where ministers of his government are saying outright genocidal things.
Andy Levin is a Jew who supports the uncommitted vote.
Yeah, again, I disagree with him on that position.
Sarul Patel is an advisor to Democratic campaigns, a Hindu who does not support the uncommitted campaign and doesn't think it'll hurt President Biden.
I don't think that it's a victory lap. And the reason is that when you look at it objectively, it's actually a very small number.
It's 100,000, though.
But when you look at Obama going into a second term, he was at 11% was the uncommitted vote, and we're at 13% now.
Patel also doesn't believe that U.S. policy is wrong for supporting Israel.
I would fear that a move towards ceasefire could hurt him more than the particular vote here.
Sounds like you're doubling down.
I agree. I really think so. I think that vast majority of the vote is in favor of, you know, what the national security brass is saying, and I think that going against that would potentially hurt President Biden.
Ooh, okay, so
put all this together. Right?
There's a lot there. Both, though, I want to point out that Levin and Patel, there are still Democrats. They are not voting for Trump. They said they will never vote for Trump. Okay. They also kind of say, though, as certainly Patel says, that if the war continues in November, that could hurt Joe Biden, and not just with Muslim and Arabic voters, could be other people as well. And finally, although we have a lot of Muslims here in Michigan, will this uncommitted idea spread to other states? We have a Super Tuesday next Tuesday. As a matter of fact, let's see where it goes. But I will say, there were a lot of people yesterday in Michigan handing out literature from other states. So this uncommitted vote idea is a national effort. Very popular in Michigan, but will it continue?
But to think that it's not going to have an impact, to all due respect to Mr. Patel, you're talking about Biden. He won this state by 150,000 votes in 2020. 100,000 people in the primary, you're saying, I don't want to vote for you. And that's actually pretty impactful.
And in 2016, the difference between Trump and Biden was 10,000, 14,000. That's it. So we're talking about 100. So,
and then you have other potential candidates and maybe some other drama unfolding. I mean, this is a lot of moving parts, and things could definitely change by November.
That's right.
All right. Thanks, Charlie.
Thanks, Charlie.